afternoon. It's Friday. It's the West Ham Daily News with the West Ham Irons channel. It's Jazz at your service. What's been going on in and around our club? It's not quite as exciting as it was yesterday, really, with the breaking news of Max Kilman, our probable new captain, doing his medical today and hopefully get it all wrapped up by Sunday, shall we say. So not quite as exciting as yesterday. But still one or two things to talk about before we get into the one or two really interesting things. George Urphy, our 19-year-old academy graduate who I mentioned yesterday. Nice to see him bonding quite well with the new manager. He's come back from holiday from Portugal. I've been really impressed with him. I know it's only been one or two games, but I've loved the off-the-ball movement, the intelligence, obviously the goal he scored. These things are what make players really, really great, really. It's the movement in and around the box. And trying to predict what happens before it happens. So apart from, I don't really know what his exact best position will be for West Ham going forward in his career, but he certainly looks good. He's got that X factor about him, so hopefully his development carries on. Really interesting comment from him. He's saying it's really exciting times at West Ham to work with a new manager, the new staff, meet them all, see how they work, and what we can do differently as a team. So that's another hint of youngsters, other players, especially people like Cornet. Nice to see him also coming back to training to really start again, refresh themselves and work with new coaches, really. So that's kind of interesting from George Urphy. Obviously, like I said, good things to hear from him. A little bit about Wes Foderingham, who's come a little bit under the radar. 33-year-old goalkeeper. What I didn't know was that he's mentioning that he was contacted by the West Ham goalkeeping coach, Xavi Valero, who actually came in under Pellegrini's time and remained at the club, and apparently he's one of the best goalkeeping coaches in the world. So that's a bit of things you didn't perhaps knew. So we've got a goalkeeping coach at West Ham who's renowned as one of the world's best, from Spain. So obviously he's looking forward to working with the new boss. And he reached out to Wes Foderingham of Sheffield United towards the end of last season, and he's come in on the free to bump up the three goalkeepers that we've got, really. So that's a nice little fact for you guys. Apart from that, I didn't know, but Lewis Brown has signed a professional contract with West Ham, an 18-year-old centre-back, can play on the left side of centre-back and also as a left-back. Lewis Brown is actually the son of Ken Brown, who obviously played for West Ham as a right-back under Harry Redknapp, scored that famous goal against, I think it was Man United, I'm not sure. But then his dad was also the senior Kenny Brown, who played in the 60s, part of the 64 FA Cup winning team and 65 European Cup winning team, I believe. So that's a third generation of the Browns representing West Ham. That's a great story. And he's mentioning how obviously West Ham's been in his blood, in the family, and he spent a lot of his time in and out playing different clubs, especially Arsenal, but he signed a professional contract with West Ham, and his father already works at West Ham, so that's a nice little story there to share with you guys. On to one of the big things down here I'm looking at. So that boy up there, En-Nesyri, the Moroccan forward at Sevilla, who's been linked every single window with West Ham. I think he's okay. He's not a prolific goal scorer, but he's only 27. He's very strong. He's a regular at Morocco. He loves it and very used to playing up front by himself. He can handle himself. So we linked with him again. Him and Banza, so both of them. That's good to hear. I'm looking forward to the links with the strikers. I really want one or two strikers to come in, and he's been linked for a long time. Playing in Spain, obviously Lopetigui's background garden. He knows Spain inside out. So good to see that. This link never goes away. I don't know why last time the deal didn't happen. We actually flew a private plane to meet him at a restaurant in the summer. It still didn't happen. I don't know. But he just doesn't get old. He's been linked for a couple of years and he's still only 27, 28. So good to kind of see the striker links happening. And I'm all right with it again. He's a good age, 27, 28. And again, these players really, really, before their careers kind of dwindle, come to the end. I'm sure they all want to try the Premiership, you know. So that's kind of a link there. Fabrizio Romano has mentioned that West Ham have been cleared. There's no plans to loan out Lucas Paqueta. Despite Flamengo's direct approach, Flamengo will try again to make the deal happen in the next up and coming weeks, but only West Ham interested in permanent transfer. So we went over a little bit of that yesterday, where I think even if he remains and we don't have the 100% clearance, he still want to go. Even if it's cleared, I don't think he wants to stay at West Ham either way. And I don't want that cloud over West Ham. I'm not being that impressed with him in terms of game week in, week out, how consistent he is. He's a maverick. He loses the ball a lot. Of course, he has those 1 or 2 games where he's world class. He's breathless. He's amazing. But week in, week out, not for me. And I don't think he's the type of character that's loyal. The quicker we move, the quicker we recycle the cash, the quicker we bring in players, really. But again, nice to see Lopetegui in his 1 or 2 press conferences backing Paqueta, calling it the West Ham family. And I love words like that. I don't know if David Moyes is quite as, kind of explaining things like that, or quite speaking from the heart like that at times, really. So nice to hear that from the manager, that if the players' family, especially going through a bit of a rough time, that he's there for him. Cool. That kind of good for me, really. The other thing is, apparently we beat Tottenham when the Max Kilman transfer hopefully concludes. Apparently Tottenham was one of those clubs that wanted him. That's, one of those news is flying around. The other news, obviously, is about Max Kilman's contract. It looks like a 6-year contract. He's going to double his salary, everyone, from 50,000 a week to 100. It still leaves him behind Zuma, coming on to Agard. I want Agard gone. He's 27, 28. I think he's going to be 29 next March. We paid 35 million euros for him. He's played about 50 games for us. I'm not impressed at all. Let's get the boy out. Because as it stands, ex-employee last night was saying that after Kilman comes in, there's no more centre-backs coming in. So for me, that's not good. I want to get Zuma or Gerd out, ideally both. I'm that kind of guy, but I know we can only do so much in one window. I get that due to David Moyes, all the shit he's left behind. So I am very much open to letting the Gerd go, especially because we're still linked with Nice's centre-back, Jean-Claude Todibo. He's very highly renowned. 25 million bid a couple of days ago got rejected. It looks like we're in the market for 1 or 2 centre-backs. So a Gerd needs to be sold to get the wages off the books and get some money in, really. So time to sell a Gerd, definitely for me. He's not interested. He doesn't want to come here unless that was a David Moyes thing. I don't know. But listen, he can't even do the kind of the basics of defending, marking, reading. Got done in every other game. Looked embarrassing, really. So not for me, mate. Apart from that, I think that's probably most of the news. If I have a quick check on everything, that's about it. So nice to see, George Murphy's comments. Looking forward to doing something new with the manager. Nice to be linked with a few strikers. Bit exciting tomorrow. Hopefully next couple of days, Max Kilman, things will be over the line. Nice to hear from him, see what he says. Let's see what happens with the Paqueta East Ender saga, see how that develops. And that's it. But surely but slowly the window's moving along nicely and proactively. A lot of things are being done. Sometimes in previous windows it's been stale. Nothing's been going on. Real things are happening, I think, really. So again, keep subscribing, West Ham Minds channel. Stick with me, and I will, again, like I said, keep bringing you news as and when I hear it. That's quite meaningful. That's quite interesting. That's kind of believable. It's kind of could happen. Otherwise, there's 3-4 other players I could have spoke to you about. I'm not going to go into that because there's too many links every single day, and you can tell a lot of them is just tongue-in-cheek stories just to put stories out there, really. But you guys have a lovely afternoon and what it's left. I'm going to go and pick up my car. It's been serviced. It's a hefty bill. Take care, everyone. Love you all. Take care.